Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our weekly stock market brief. This is where we do analysis on the overall market, S&P 500, QQ, as well as the MSFT. We've got market hitting new all-time highs this week, and we'll be looking at the red flags, sentiment datas, dark pool datas, as well as sector datas. And let's get started with sector datas first before getting into the charts and the MSFT. So sector data, nothing red flag for me this week. Not even a rotational week. This is just absolute bull control week. Every sector in the green, as you can see in the last 5 days. The only red flag for me in terms of sector wise is the housing sector at the moment. You can see housing sector is not making new highs and is making lower lows and lower highs. So it's currently in a downtrend. And the last time we've seen this red flag was back in January and February of 2025 before we got that big rollover. So you can see over here, right when housing sector starts to roll over here, SPY is still making new highs, right? By the point it gets to here, February 19-ish, housing sector is already down here, and SPY is roughly right here, just about to roll over. And then once it roll over, this rolled over more as well. And we fast forward to today, where new all-time highs and housing sector did not make a new all-time highs. That's the initial first red flag. You can see it, we are still rejecting from the structure, from the last year's structure. And then we already pulled back currently. So if this continues all the way down to this April low, where we had that capitulation low to this area, then there's a solid chance we might get a pullback on SPY coming in. So keep on watching that. If housing sector continues to weaken, we may get a pullback in the market, especially if we come down to this April low here. So that's the only red flag I'm seeing on the sector wise. In terms of fear and greed index, a little broken, right? 33, where we're at new all-time highs, which should be sitting at extreme greed at the moment. That just kind of shows that a lot of market participants are flipping to puts and shorts right when we get one red day, just like what we had back here, right? That one day here, and everybody kind of flipped to the bear side. Right? All of a sudden, everyone was a bull for a couple of weeks, and then I'm seeing we're getting a little bit too bearish, right? Bears are all gone. That week that we dropped, next thing you know, we're back to everyone's a bear. So, and the market decides. I talked about this last week. Said there's a good chance that we're going to squeeze out all the bears again, hit new all-time highs, which we did. So essentially everybody's being a bear again just from one red day. Is probably what's causing this fear and greed index in the fear. In terms of earnings, this is the week where everyone is looking at. So all these are market movers. So Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple, all these guys will move the market quite a bit depending on their earnings. And a lot of other bigger names too, of course, here. I'll just take a screenshot if you guys are any one of these. And let's continue with dark pools. So we have XPXU, which is shorting the S&P 500. You can see these lows are pretty much these highs. And we did overshoot it on Friday, right? We broke above all-time highs. So those shorts were around these levels at the moment. So what we would like to see if you're a bear is we don't get much follow through essentially on this new all-time high break here. So what I didn't like as much is this. It was from the pre-market CPI gap up, and then we didn't really move much higher after that, right? You can see once we opened, and then we kind of chip chop, and then we made it like one more leg up, tiny bit, like 0.11%. So most of the move was happened overnight, and with this low volume as well. So most of the volume here in the open session was traded within what? Let's see. Once we open, we're about here. Yeah, point. Let's just measure from the bottom to top. It was within a 0.36 range with all these volumes. So bulls didn't really go that far. So you would expect after a 2-week congestion of sideways to finally resolve that 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 this big drop action here, right? Ping pong for 2 weeks, and then finally a breakout. We expect a little bit more fireworks than this. That being said, bulls are still in full control at the moment. This could just be bulls chilling a little bit, right? Letting the indicators, EMAs, all that kind of stuff catch up. Could be just form a bull fly here. Next thing you know, you break new highs. Um, so what you want to see as a bull is just that we consolidate a little bit and we get more follow through on the upside. For bears, you want to see we poke to new highs, lack follow through, poke to new highs, a little bit lack follow through, poke to new highs, lack follow through, and then we roll over back underneath where we broke out from here. Or we just kind of go sideways, slow grind sideways, and then roll over. That would signal a little bit of rough leg, meaning there's no real buyers here. Even should be easy squeeze, especially for all-time highs. There's no resistance at the moment. Yeah, we'll see which way it ends up playing out. In terms of other dark pool, we have SMH coming in as well, which is the semiconductor sector. The biggest weighting at SMH is Nvidia. So if Nvidia starts breaking out, there's a good chance we're going to break above these dark pools. So at the moment, these dark pools is probably just more so like a take profit versus a sell at the moment. But if we start really cracking underneath below this, then that could be a sell. So we'll have to see if more dark pool comes in. So if we, let's say we head higher, break a little bit higher, and more prints start to come in, and those could be more probable that those could be a sell. We don't know what the exact thing the dark pool is. We just can make an educated guess depending on the location. We just know there are large prints around these areas. So for now, it's looking like these 7 and 10s largest prints are more so like a take profit at the moment because you overshoot it. But that being said, right, dark pool overshooting is very common, very, very common. We had a dark pool overshoot here down here as well multiple times. There are a lot of dark pools in this middle range. You can see we overshoot it multiple times, hit new all-time highs multiple times as well before it rolled over. Doesn't have to always like roll over like this, right? You could get like a 5 or 10% move, something like that, depending on whatever's happening at the moment, whatever that catalyst is. And economic data, we have the FOMC rate decision next week. It is pricing in a cut at the moment. We'll have to see how the conference goes. Currently pricing in 98.3% cut, so we're 100% going to get a cut. And we're pricing another one in December, and then next year, January, it's a coin flip. But we'll have to get more data before January. All right, let's get into the charts for technicals. Yeah, so talking about that, it's 2 scenarios from the Bulls and the Bears earlier. We'll have to see which one ends up playing out there. The moment, especially if we got all these earnings rolling up, rate decisions coming up, right, on Wednesday FOMC. I don't think we're just gonna. Who knows? I mean, maybe we'll just skyrocket, but we'll have to see. I think market participants are just waiting to see where those earnings come in, how they look, especially the Mag 7s, right? So I might get a chip chop, kind of like more of a slow grind up, no follow through, kind of, or go sideways a little bit, and then we'll decide once those earnings roll in FOMC meeting out of the way as well. Here's exactly similar ideas, right? We just gapped up over all the resistance on the CPI. No red flags, new all-time highs at the moment. Only red flag be similar idea if we come back towards all these levels again after breaking out, no follow through. Kind of like what we did back here, right? Finally broke above all these resistance, made new highs, all-time highs, and no follow through. Not saying this is gonna happen exactly the same like here, right? But maybe we'll come back and then we decide to go like this again. Who knows? But we'll take it 1 week at a time. At the moment, no red flags, so we'll have to see if any of the Mag 7s are giving us any kind of red flags where market might actually roll over. All right, Meta here. No huge red flag, but definitely the weakest on his peers at the moment. You can see Qs was green every single day for the last couple of weeks. So not last couple of weeks, this week, right? And Meta is just not getting above the resistance. This 738 is the gateway into this back to the structure, which is the low of the structure. You can see on the last 4 days, can't even get over it. Even on Friday, with Qs up 1.7%, Meta barely made a move, right? Up 0.6. Still can't get over the resistance. So there's a solid chance Meta, I would say, is the lead bear at the moment. Clear resistance, and if market pulls back a little bit, Meta likely is going to pull back. If we break this 724, we're back looking at 720. Yeah, and Tesla here, we got that 3% drop after earnings, but then bull spotted all up the next day, and then now we're down again all of the next days. So very clear resistance, right, and support. That 3% drop low was marked exactly at this 414 and 415 support right here, where we bounce off of it like 10 times already. And that resistance is exactly up here again with that 450 zone, 450, 445 zone resistance. And then we roll over. So it's still ping ponging one way or the other resolve. If I were to guess, I'm going to say we're probably going to resolve to the downside. Obviously, we got to break 415s first for that to even happen. But there was a lot of hedges into earnings, which makes sense. I would hedge as well, right? If we got this big, huge gap below us, no volume, not much volume between. And if we break 414, there's a good chance we're going to flush straight to 370s. So all the hedges are gone. They probably made that move next day. And then we'll have to see if we get more volatility on the downside here at the moment. Right, Qs was up 1%, and you have Tesla down 3%. That just shows some relative weakness there. Yeah, but it won't sooner resolve this whole cluster thing one way or the other. So looking for that tiny range. If we don't break this high, we might get that tiny range come in. Big move up, big move down. Don't break two new lows. Big move up, don't break two new highs. If we resolve this, starting to resolve to the downside, we might kind of form that tiny range. So. All right, Amazon. Amazon, no reflex at the moment. I'd say it's relatively the same as Qs this week, right? 2 green days, 1 red day, 2 green days bounce. That being said, it's still a little bit weaker than its peers as well, right? Its peers, Google's, Apple's are making new all-time highs, while this is still battling this all-time high structure, right above us. You see the lows of these structures are pretty much the low of these resistance, right? So if we can get over this 227, then there's a solid chance of it back to be 231. If we reject from here, we're probably gonna come down to test 216s again. Break 216s, we're gonna go back to 210. But I'll say Amazon's currently neutral, or we're neutral. And Microsoft, similar idea. It's a pretty neutral guy as well. Just been battling between this structure and this structure. This structure has been acting as support, right? All the lows of these bounces are literally from this resistance, prior resistance, now acting as support. And all the resistance above us is from this guy, where you can't get over it. So yeah, so we'll see which way Microsoft decides to break. I don't really see us breaking up above 550s unless market makes another 5% up, which is possible if Nvidia breaks out by about 200s. But at the moment, we'll have to see. Yeah, Microsoft, I would say, is team neutral as well at the moment. Not breaking down or not breaking out, but it's definitely favoring the bulls. If you made a move like this, 60% up, and you're just consolidating near the highs, that is absolutely favoring the bulls. It's just forming like a bull flag at the moment. I think I talked about the bull flag as well, where it's like this. Flags, And next thing you know, Christmas rally or something. Next thing you know, we are up again. But for now, it's still flagging. All right, Google. Well, team bull for sure. All-time highs. Can't argue with that at all. No resistance. Keep things simple. Don't short all-time highs. You don't know where it's just tough to short all-time highs. Yeah, just wait for the initial drop. If it comes back, then you're like, okay, there's no follow through to all-time highs. Then you look for the lower high. Short there, put a stop there, and then potentially look for the follow through. Especially showing these names are tough. Yeah, no red flags, new all-time highs. The only red flag would be if we come back all the way and give back this breakout, would be a failed breakout, but no signs of that yet. Apple as well, new all-time highs, no number of red flags. We are seeing some upper wicks, right? Some little bit of resistance here, but we are obviously all-time highs. Not a lot of volume here to give us real resistance, but it is showing a little bit of red flag. Sorry, not a little bit of red flag, a little bit of resistance, but that's not that big of a deal for me at the moment. What would be a red flag is if we break below 260, come down all the way to 245, and bounce. And now this guy, 253 is acting as resistance, and then we roll over like that. That would be the red flag. Where we actually, that would be a head and shoulders if that does happen. But yeah, that would be the red flag. We crack below these breakout points and no follow through. Right, we just broke about 260 all-time highs. If we come back all the way, that's no follow through. First red flag, and then now all these prices above us is going to be active resistance. That's going to be the second red flag, and that will likely mark a temporary top if that does happen. And Apple has a history of doing that, right? Breaking new highs, no follow through. Kind of here, no follow through. Here as well. Broke below above this little blip high, kind of roll over. So new highs, roll over. Yeah, new highs, a little bit new high right here, tiny bit of a blip, roll over. This one actually broke out, so happens sometimes. But we'll see what happens next week. And Nvidia. So Nvidia broke out a little bit here on Friday, actually. Kind of held up the market. Very clear resistance here. Price broke below it. See how it acted as resistance again. Can't get over it, can't get over it, can't get over it, can't get over it. Even though we can't get over it, bulls are playing support. Bulls didn't even let the bears test these lows. Right, so we got the very clear support here. That's 177. And we actually broke above that resistance on Friday, 184 here. So if market are gonna make new all-time highs, it's gonna be Nvidia carrying this semiconductor sector all the way back up to 200. We're gonna get more follow through. And if we get up to 200, right, this is the only resistance I'm seeing. 4 rejections here, come up to all the way roughly lining like 203-ish around here. Yeah, because there's not much resistance. There's no resistance all-time highs. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Always appreciated. And feel free to comment below if you guys have any questions, and check out the Patreon link for one-on-ones, or just book that 15-minute free call with me. If you guys want to talk more about technical analysis or mindsets, just book that 15-minute free call, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for commodities update. Check out the video from tomorrow. Have a great rest of you guys this weekend.